can't have it all set like that.
Welcome to Supers Live. Sorry for the technical difficulties. Apparently, at the start of the show here, had some wrong buttons pushed or something's going on. But you are getting ready to enjoy some live super modified sim racing at Salem Speedway, high bank, half mile in southern Indiana. And we are rounding out our season. We're getting right down to the end of it here. Just 3 weeks left of the 2017-2018 Wing Super Modified racing season. We say wing, but tonight we're running non-wing Super Modifieds. And there's a reason for that. We'll explain that here in a little bit. We're the Super Modified Ultimate Pavement Racing Series, and we're the original and oldest Super Modified sim racing sanction. Been going at this since 2004, supporting real super modified racing and racers in their times of need through the Dion Parish Memorial Benevolent Fund. All donations received to SUPRS go into that fund to help super modified drivers and their families in times of need. Well, we've got a guy that has some pretty good luck here at Salem Speedway in a non-wing super modified and has one win in a wing super modified. That's Carl Bonzai Becker, and he's seen plenty of racing at Salem Speedway down through the years. Carl, welcome to the Supers broadcast booth. You had some pretty quick times in practice, second in the heat race. You're going to be going away from the pole position of this 30-lap feature. If you could tell the fans one or two things about super modified racing at Salem Speedway, what would they be?
When you lift a little bit into the turns, that's when you get to breathe. Other than that, you just kind of hold your breath. The place is extremely fast. It's a bit rough in spots, and it has its own mystique, and it's one of those places that you either love or you hate, and I guess I love it.
When you look at your years of super modified racing and helping on real super modified teams, if you can remember some things about what's happened at Salem Speedway, I'm sure there's some crazy, wild races and some pretty horrendous crashes down here with cars going out of the ballpark. What do you remember some of the great stories of super modified racing down through the years? It's been a long time since the Supers have raced at Salem in real life.
Well, it sure has. And my last years of being in Salem was with a sprint car. And I guess I can think maybe the weird things that happened with the supers, it just carried right into the sprint cars. They might have been lighter, and and the motor's not quite as big. Although in the old days the motors on the supers were a bit smaller, and it's just one of those places that you pretty much just stand on it, and you just hope nothing weird happens in front of you. They can go out of the ballpark. They can flip upside down. They can go to the bottom and fly back up to the top. And It's just you either like it, Bobby, or you fear it. And most people that kind of like to come down here and run, they really enjoy it. Now, being from mid Michigan, this is the other end of the world for us mid Michigan guys to come down here and race. But it's a it's a lot of fun, and the speed kind of equalizes it for everyone.
The Carl, looking at the race here tonight, just 3 laps. It's a pretty quick sprint race. Kind of going back to the old days, the Sunday afternoons when the Supers raced at Salem. You're going to be going away from the pole. How do you feel about your chances of picking up your second win here and your fifth top five ever in competition going back to
If I don't push up in turn one and keep my head on straight, I guess I probably have about as good a chance as anyone else. It's a very short race, and you just got to be mindful of where a couple of those bumps are at and not get too low, because if you get too low, you get on the flat spot and it will shoot you right straight up. And you got to be cautious about that.
Carl, caution. Not much time to be cautious, that's for sure. But you got to be careful on the edge of your seat and up on the wheel the entire 30 laps. Want to wish you the very best of luck here tonight. A track that you love, and first time ever in rFactor here, setting on the pole for the future. Good luck to you, Carl.
Thank you very much, Bobby. And I want to thank everybody in Supers that kind of put this thing on. And there's a lot of guys put a lot of effort into this. And we fellas who do this really enjoy the fact that you guys put the effort into it, so we have some place to play.
Well, thanks a lot, Carl, and again, best of luck to you. Glad to have you. You know, Carl's one of the older guys here in Supers, and still having fun racing NASCAR heat and rFactor Supermodified. Well, folks, let's talk a little bit about the points after last week. The points a little bit of a change as Chad Phelps and Derek Backus actually moving up through the field as he got going up in through there. Was down at the bottom, but a winner last week, led all 200 laps of the Star Classic. What an amazing feat. Has never happened before in history, and that's something pretty incredible for a guy to be able to do. So Derek Backus making a jump of points. Rob Warren pretty much has this thing sewed up for his second Supers Wing Championship in a row.
Well, a couple technical difficulties here as drivers drop it out of the server. We want to get them going for sure and make sure that they can go. Just coming up on a schedule, we've got the Indiana Supermod Challenge 2 race deal coming up next week at Indianapolis Raceway Park. That should be a doozy of a show for sure, as we expect some more close racing. The Disturbed Motorsports guys and Nelson Rodriguez should be back for that. Rodriguez out with some family, taking care of some family vacation, and Derek Backus, your winner last week, a fireman, doing a fundraiser here tonight. Chad Phelps getting ready to go with his real modified on the dirt. Guys, you know, go racing for real, as you heard Carl Becker talk about working on race cars, and Keith Powell and Steve Callahan also racing super modified crew members. In fact, Steve Callahan, let's talk a little bit about him. Steve Callahan is tied for the all-time wins here at Salem Speedway in Supers competition, 2 wins. Steve has been having a pretty decent back half of the season. And that's pretty typical of Steve. The first half of the season, he runs a little slow, although you can't take nothing away from him being a North Carolina swing champion this year. But Steve coming on strong here at the end of the season. Some top fives, a couple of wins. The CPR Motorsports team, Keith Powell and Steve Callahan, doing pretty good. But the last 2 weeks have been owned by the Disturbed Motorsports team. Derek Backus, as we said, led all 200 laps last week and won it. And then Kyle Clark, the week before, won the New England 50 at Thompson International Speedway. So those Disturbed guys getting going. In fact, that was Derek Backus's first rFactor. Well, we're still working on getting everybody back into the server after some problems of 3 or 4 guys getting booted out tonight. Not exactly sure what's going on. So we hope that everything gets better here and guys can keep going. In the meantime, we're going to take a quick commercial break. Please don't go anywhere, as we are going to go racing here at Salem. 30 laps on tap for the non-wing Supermodifieds. You're enjoying SUPRS Live on Twitch and supers.net. Don't go anywhere. Come right back for the feature lineup.